This video is brought to you by Skillshare. It's a massive shit. It was so big I thought about taking a picture of it. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Hi kids, I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet, and in today's episode of EDH 101, that's EDH 101, a series that was meant to be about the fundamentals of the format, and like helping you learn about the fundamentals of the format, evergreen content. Today's episode is going to just ride the fucking hype train. YouTube's gonna YouTube. So today I'm going to talk about my five picks for Kaldheim, my 5 Commander and EDH picks for Kaldheim. These are Kaldheim hot picks. Now this isn't just going to be cards that will be expensive in the future. This is not a finance video. So if you're looking to find the next great Henge or Uro, for example, I'm probably not the guy to do it. I'm going to talk about 5 EDH cards that I'm excited to play for that I think other people might get similar kicks out of if their kinks are similar to mine. I mean, outside of a global pandemic, worsening economical situations in many countries, Brexit, 17 different booster products, and about 45 different frame treatments for each card, trying to figure out what will and won't be worth something in the world of MTG finance, it's like scrying tea leaves for the answers to the next week's lottery numbers. Like, for example, did you know that Uro is like $40 in paper and $60 online? He is the most played creature in Historic, Modern, Legacy, and Pioneer. But who the fuck is playing paper Magic right now? Why is he so expensive in paper? So in short, MTG finance is just too complicated for my primitive turtle brain to understand. So this is going to be 5 cards that I absolutely fucking adore, I look forward to playing with, I think other people should play, and are going to be very fun. Whether these cards will be expensive or not, I don't fucking know, I'm just a dog scientist. This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators like me and you, which offers thousands of inspiring classes for curious people to take their next step in illustration, design, video, photography, and many, many more areas. These classes are often combinations of video lessons and class projects, where they give you actual assets and things digitally to use to do, as people are going to think it's homework. Not homework, but to actually learn the skills involved. I've been using it to learn more about Adobe Photoshop in order to improve the quality of my thumbnails and edited images on social media and bits and bobs in amongst my videos. I'm fully aware that sometimes when I mask things out, they don't look that good.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Daniel Scott's Photoshop Advanced Training course gives you actual assets to work alongside him and practice the techniques and workflow he is implementing in the training video to make an actual lesson that you'll learn the skills from. Skillshare is a curated learning experience with no annoying adverts, just the stuff you want to know and the additional tools to help you learn. So why not check out Skillshare today? There's a link in the description of this video to get your free trial to Skillshare so you can give it a go yourself and stop listening to me tell you to do it and just go do it. Like I said, the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below get a free trial to premium Skillshare. And after that, it's less than the price of a collector booster. I mean, there's a lot of things that are less than the price of a collector booster, but I mean, it is less than the price of a collector booster. Collector boosters are expensive. So here are my 5 picks for cards from Kaldheim that get my bits tingling. Number 5, Essika and her big bridge backend. I don't think this is a staple for everyone, but I think it's one of the best 5-color commanders they've put in a while. She is a 3 CMC mana dork on the front, and if you've ever seen me play Cube, you know I love me some mana dorks. But it's a mana dork that has this extra bit of Legends Matters tribal by making all your legends tap for mana. This puts her in a similar wheelhouse to the Sisseys, making for a less consistent shooter commander compared to them though, that might, upset your table a little less. She also has a second mode, and modal cards are... Saying modal cards are good is kind of obvious, but having 2 options on what to do with her in the command zone is strong. Like having her as an early mana dork that you play, or even a relatively cheap commander once you go up to 5 mana, or even, okay, 7's a bit much, but 5 mana once she's died, that's a good option for you. But you've also got her back end, which is basically the Northern Lights. And that's not some weird euphemism or some magic term you've never heard of. This is literally the Northern Lights. That's the reference for it, right? But her back end is this 5 mana, 5 color enchantment that gets you value every turn, flipping cards from your library and putting a planeswalker or creature into play by doing so. I think she's a great 5 color Gods Tribal commander, a great 5 color Legends Matters commander, a great Super Friends commander, and just a really cool and unique commander in general that won't reduce games to tutoring for the same 2 to 3 cards every time, like Sisse or Golos would. If I'm honest with you, I kind of don't like, and by kind of don't like, I mean I kind of fucking loathe 4 and 5 color commanders. I don't really like good stuff in EDH. I feel like you should have to jump through hoops and do silly and thematic things based around your commander and the synergies that go with them. That said, if we see more 4 and 5 color commanders that aren't just automatically better than everything else, if we see less, I don't know, less Atraxas, for example, and more this sort of thing, then I'm all for it. And I think the fact that she's a 5 color commander, because she interestingly flipped into a 5 color enchantment, which is something I said was going to happen. In my preview videos, I did say there would be a 5 color world tree. I thought it would be the world tree. That would be a 5 color commander, a legendary creature thing like Doran or something, to allow people to have their 5 color commander. I said there would be one in this set. I just think this is the most interesting one so far. I mean, Kenrith was kind of cool as well, to be fair. But at least this isn't a fucking Golos. In at number 4, I'm picking Pyre of Heroes. This set is a Tribal Matters set, so it's no wonder that 2 of the cards on my 5 EDH picks list are Tribal Synergy cards. Pyre of Heroes is a birthing pod for one particular tribe, allowing you to tap it for 2 mana and sack a creature and shoot up a creature that costs 1 more mana than the one that was sacked and is of the same tribe. But it's better than Pod for Commander. Birthing Pod never really cost anyone any green mana because you just paid the Phyrexian, right? But it still had a green colour identity. If you're new to Commander, I'll explain quickly. If you've got a pip of a colour in your text box or in your title of your card and your mana cost, that means you're part of that colour identity, which means, for example, Birthing Pod can only be played in green decks. And no, before you get me wrong, I'm not saying that we should be allowing anyone to play Phyrexian cards in any colour identity. I kind of hate that idea. Fuck that. But I do believe still that hybrid mana should be allowed in either colour. Kitchen Finks should be allowed in mono green and mono white. It feels intuitive. It's what people do when they first start playing the format anyway. I think it just allows people more options without damaging the spirit of the format. But that's a whole different conversation. Sheldon. Anyway, this is a colourless and easy to cast version of Pod, available in all colours, and as long as your chains are of a certain tribe, it's not going to be that busted. Now, of course, you can break it with cards like Conspiracy and the Nexus that's in the set, and you can have your usual game-ending Birthing Pod chains that way, or, and hear me out here, we can just play fun value sequences in decks like Permafrost Gods and Goblins that I have, for example. This is a Goblin Pod for my Goblin deck, and that gets me fucking hyped. Sometimes you can just progress the board state, gain a bit of incremental value, inflict pain on your opponents, and not go infinite and kill everyone. Nothing wrong with an infinite combo. I love them as much as everyone else does, and games of EDH do have to end. But not everything has to go towards I win combo. Sometimes you can just have fun fucking about and see where it ends up. That's allowed, right? You're allowed to do that. My number 3 pick is Reflections of Littjara. Fuck, I've written my script Littjara. I'm going to see this in editing and I know I've written this wrong. Another tribal payoff. This is firmly in the Value Town camp of silliness. I think I'm hot for teacher here because I want to name Elemental, have a Risen Reef in play, then cast a Mole Drifter, and honestly, I can only get so damp in my pantaloons. Other places I think this could be fun, if we understand that fun is a zero-sum game where not everyone gets to have it, could be in Mono Blue Azami Wizards. Double triggers on Snapcaster Mages, Vencers, and Barons. Seems fun. Add a Panharmonicon and Naban, and now we are fucking pod racing. And by pod racing, I mean just bouncing shit all over the shop. Everything is just bouncing, like bouncing on my boy's dick, and we're copying spells and being a massive cunt. At number 2, we have Mystic Reflection. Okay, I have a soft spot for this card, and it isn't because of the level of combo in Modern that fucking sucks. Fuck you, Fuzzy. But much like cards like Wrong Turn, it's a blue spell that can really sow some anarchy. Sometimes you combo with Avenger of Zenda cards to make, well, a shit ton of fucking Avengers, but how about Grey Merchant of Asphodel for the kill on an Army of the Dead? It's a lot of mana, but sometimes you have to send a fucking message to your playgroup that you are the boss. Or your opponent is casting a huge bomb and you're like, nah fam, it's a Birds of Paradise, mate. I like the idea of someone shooting for a Dryad Arbor for a fetch land and you just turn it into something else on the board like a Consecrated Sphinx or some other nonsense. Or someone goes to win with Rights of Replication and you instead change them into the weakest thing on the board. Have 5 copies of, I don't know, a Dryad Arbor, for example. The possibilities for hilarity and salt are endless, and I can't wait to get so fucking got by this card. Before we get to number 1, I want to do an honourable mention, so this is basically a top 6 list. I did want to include Vorinclex in the top 5 because he is basically the good part of doubling season on a body, so I was like, well, go fucking figure, right? But I can't not mention him because I'm going to die a lot to people playing Vorinclex and then playing a Planeswalker that ticks up to its ultimate immediately and just or ticks down in this case and fucks me up. OG Vorinclex is hands down one of my least favourite cards in Commander ever printed. It is unfun. One person is penalised heavily for actually dealing with it, and I hate penalising people for actually playing the removal that the table needs. And, well, it's just fucking nonsense. Look at it. I like that new Vorinclex is not like that. I've talked about this in a video or two before already. I like the new Vorinclex isn't that obnoxious. The nod to doubling season is fantastic. The art is incredible. I love it. But it's kind of like, well, my first pick's going to be kind of cliche too, but it's cliche, right? Part of doubling season on a body. It's a 6 mana 6/6 hasting trampler in green. Cool, I guess. Yeah, I had to include it, but I didn't want it to be one of my 5 picks. But essentially just done a top 6 list now, so fuck me, I guess. And then at number 1, this is probably also very obvious, and but I have to pick it. It's World Tree. The one, the only, but definitely not apparently legendary, the World Tree. I've spoken about this card a lot. They put a full-on wombo combo into the set with it alongside Nexus, and I kind of love it. I've played it in Standard, I've played it in Historic, I'm going to play that combo in Modern and Legacy before the year is out as well. But combo aside, the card is fucking great. I actually genuinely believe this is the best 5-colour land they've ever printed for Commander. It not only produces all colours of mana once you get to 6 lands, but it fixes all of your mana all of the time forever. And unlike things like Temple of the False God that gives you an advantage when you get to a certain number land count, barring Enter the Battlefield tapped, and don't forget you can go shoot for this off of certain things like, well, not Prime Time, but Go Lost and shit like that if you really wanted to, barring coming into play tapped, it doesn't have the downside that like Temple of the Forsaken Gods does, where it just doesn't do anything. I think Temple of the Forsaken Gods is a trap, where this card is just, it's almost all upside. And then when you get beyond the fixing, which is insane, it's got a tutor attached to it for the late game. It can go and get you like 1 or 2 gods, the Perforos in your deck, I don't know, the Karametra in your deck, or any of the new gods from Kaldheim that none of them really tickle my pickle, but you can go get a random incidental god at some point in the game. Or if you've got Arcane Adaptation or the new Nexus, yeah, fuck it, you can do whatever you want. In some ways, the color identity rule actually helps out X. It's nice to see that because it's got all 5 colors on it, you can only play in a 5-color deck, right? And that means that we're not going to see it in every single base green deck. So I think the fixing that comes from this land in Commander, especially outside of the EDH community, where you get to a lot of lands in play in pretty much every game, the fixing is so good, the chromatic lantern style effect, is that this would be in every base green deck hands down. So the color identity rules there are helping to stop the homogenization of the format that we see with colorless staples like Arcane Signet and Sol Ring and shit like that. So thanks, Sheldon. Wait, no, I said that with sarcasm, but I mean it. Thanks, Sheldon. I quite like Commander. Without you, we probably wouldn't have it. So thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Now give me fucking hybrid mana changes. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet, and those are my 5, but came out to be 6 because you can't have a list without a fucking honourable mention, am I right? That was my 5 picks for Kaldheim cards for Commander that make my pickle go all... Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit me in the comment section down below if you think I missed something from Kaldheim that was better than any of the 5 or 6 cards that I mentioned. Is one of the cards on this list actually complete garbage and you want to give me shit for it? Do that in the comment section below. Smash that like button, ring that bell, and don't forget to subscribe as well. 60% of my views come from people who haven't subscribed. And while subscriber count doesn't matter, it does again... I want to say a word that's not tickle, that rhymes with pickle. It fickles my pickle? This video was brought to you by Skillshare. But jokes aside, there's a link in the description below to get a free trial. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.